I want to talk about variables, and it's an area where students seem to make mistakes on the technology applications. And each of the technology applications will ask you to identify the type of variable and whether it's discrete or continuous and its level of measurement. And I just want to kind of quickly go over that for a little bit more instruction than what might be in your textbook here. But I'm in section 2.1, and you'll see there's some information given here first, but I'm going to skip over to page 56 and just talk about this tree diagram. And notice here that the variables are either going to be qualitative or quantitative. So all variables that we work with in statistics, we could classify them in one of these two groupings here. Now, qualitative means non-numeric, so asking someone like the type of tennis shoe they're wearing, they may respond Reebok or Nike or Adidas or something like that, so non-numeric. And quantitative would be a response that would be numeric, that's representing an amount, like how much a person weighs or how tall that person is. They may say 65 or 68 inches or something like that. Now, if it's qualitative, we don't break that down any further. We go right to the level of measurement. If it's quantitative, we will break that down into either discrete or continuous. So all quantitative variables are either discrete or continuous. The easiest way to identify it is ask yourself, are you counting something or are you measuring to get that value? So money, if you wanted to know, is money discrete or continuous? Well, we count money. If we want to see how much money we have on us, we would count that. So that's a discrete quantitative variable. Continuous variables are things we measure. If you want to know how much something weighs, right, we have to use a scale to measure how much it weighs. If you want to know how fast you're going, you would need a speedometer to, in your car, like to measure how fast you're going. So again, continuous variables we measure. And then discrete can be either interval or ratio. Continuous variables are either interval or ratio. So our four levels of measurement are nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. And when we're working with qualitative data, most of the time we would see them at the nominal level. We're just putting things in categories only. If the categories are grouped so that one is higher than the other or more of or better than the other, and we put them in order, we would say it's ordinal. For example, letter grades. A, B, C, D, we're grouping, but we would say that A is higher than B and B is higher than C and so on. So if you move up the line a little bit and you're working with quantitative data, interval is not very common. So most likely you're probably not at the interval level if you're working with quantitative data. An example would be temperature. In Fahrenheit, it has no true zero temperature. There's still heat there, so it doesn't mean absence of the attribute. Where at the ratio level, we would say 0 means what we would think, that there is no amount there. So we start our scale that we weigh ourselves, we set it at 0, or our tape measure starts at 0, and so on. Interval level temperature can go below 0, and we measure amounts even with negative numbers. So let's go ahead and just do a couple examples here. And remember, when you do your tech gaps, be careful and think about those definitions. And let's just pick some of these variables. And here we say shoe size, 8 or 10.5. If we want to identify is that qualitative or quantitative. Again, it is numeric and it does measure some amount. 15, the salaries of state governors would be quantitative, right? Area code represents regions, so those numbers are really not representing amounts. We would say they're quantitative. And then we could break down some of these into discrete and continuous and so on. So